Hey everyone, Paul Johnson from Lanesboro, Minnesota, and also part of the Laughing Trail Fly Tying Club. Today I'm going to be tying a Metolius Caddis. So this fly was created by the Root River Rod Company in Lanesboro, Minnesota, and is one of their favorite patterns for caddis flies in the driftless area in southeastern Minnesota. So just kind of walk through it real quick, and then we're going to tie one up. So I'm tying this one on a size 16, 1XL long dry fly hook. The post and the tail is the same clump of deer hair. The abdomen is just some light hare's mask dubbing, and then it does have a collar of some brown rooster hackle. So let's get started here. As I mentioned, it's a size 16 1XL long dry fly hook. Get that in the vise. Try to get it in there straight. For a thread, I've got a spool of 8/0 uni in tan. I'm going to start that at about the 80% mark on my thread on my hook. Put a thread base to the back of the hook and bring that back forward and leave my thread hang there at that 80% mark. Come in and clip that hair, the thread off. Now I've already cleaned and stacked a clump of deer hair. I can't tell you exactly how much you have to use. You just have to kind of feel it. And I'm going to apologize up front here. My thumbs are going to be in the picture quite a bit here today. So I want this post to be the hook length in hook shank in length, or perhaps just a little bit more. So I'll kind of measure that, move it up that at 80%. I'm going to make 2 gathering wraps with my thread, pull it tight, make 4 or 5 tight wraps of thread in that same spot. Now I'll jump back just a little bit, secure that tail end of that, or butt ends of that deer hair back down the hook shank till I get to the back of the hook, and then I'll bring my thread back to the original tie-in point there. Now I'm going to come in, lift that out of the way, apologize for my thumbs, and create a little bit of a thread dam in front of that wing or post. Kind of gather them up together. And now what I've been struggling with is it's hard to get this to post up like you would if you were using poly yarn, because it compresses, and so as I pull it tight, the deer hair just seems to flare out on me. So I'm just going to do a few gathering wraps around there, and then we'll come back and clean that up a little bit more. At this point, I'm just going to trim some of this deer hair out of the tail. I have way too much in there anyway. Now we're going to add a little bit of dubbing. Bump the camera. So we're just going to make a real fine noodle with my dubbing. And this is just like, as I mentioned, a light hare's mask dubbing. Kind of working my way up and then get in front of that wing. Just a touch more. All right. So now what I'm going to do is advance my thread in front of the post. And I've got some rooster hackle, dark brown rooster hackle. It's oversized a little bit, so maybe a size 14, closer to that. And what I did is I just caught it real with one wrap right behind the eye. I'll sweep back that post. That lets me get that tied in there a little bit better. And then I'm going to lift it up and tie it to the post itself, forming a traditional post that you would see on any parachute fly. And then now with that post in there, or excuse me, with that feather in there, I can post that up a little bit better than I was able to with just the hair wing for the post. Now I'm just going to add a touch more dubbing. Get back to the post, and then I'm going to come underneath, and I'll drop my thread there and let my thread hang behind the post. Now I should get 4 turns of this hackle, and when you get the first turn, I'm going to pull that tight, and that'll even further compress that post of the deer hair. So that's 3, and I'm working my way down. So 4 turns. Now I'm going to make a thread wrap on top, make a thread wrap below the hackle, and I'm going to come in and make a few wraps with my tie-in thread right behind the eye. Come in here and carefully clip off the remaining feather. Clip this off. And then you can either push that back, and use the whip finish tool, or I'm just going to come in here and do some half hitches, which I can just get my tool right underneath that hackle collar and do 3 or 4 of those. And so there, that's tied in good. Now, to trim this tail, I'm going to actually take it out of the vise and see if I can trim this so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to hold it upside down, make some clips with my scissors, not cutting even, and just kind of tapering that back a little bit. And then flip it over, and kind of the same thing on the top. And this is either creating a wing or perhaps the emerging caddis coming out of its case. I'll kind of clean that up a little bit, get some of that clipped deer hair out of there. Set it back in the vise. And there we have it, the finished Metolius Caddis. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.